Captain's Log, Supplemental. I was walking through engineering today and was greeted with a most unusual scene. Chief Engineer Dable has been planning on realigning the Icelander chip banks and has been trying to come up with a way to increase the efficiency of the process. The crewman apparently mentioned old Earth sea shanties as a way that ships used to do it. What I did not expect was the lyric "Pull my pulley boys pull" as the refrain of said space shanty. Also of note, one day when the chipping is done, we'll take our leave and go. After I headed the chief, they did get the work done in record time.
Welcome back to another episode of Captain's Log Supplemental. My name is Rob, and as always, I'm joined by our producer, Mariah.
Hi there.
And my two friends and co-hosts, Stanford.
Hello.
And Chris.
Hey there.
So we're a Star Trek rewatch podcast, working our way through every episode of Star Trek in chronological stardate order. So we're on season 3 now of Enterprise. We're on episode 17, Hatchery. But before we dive into that, how's everybody doing this week?
Super great.
All right, let me tell you something.
Okay.
So as we know, I'd say friend of the pod, but I don't think she's actually listened to the podcast. But our friend Amy she works for Paradox, and she's the community manager for one of the community managers for Stellaris.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of her job is to do most of the Facebook posts that come out of the Stellaris page. So like I follow the Stellaris page on Facebook. I always try to like engage with her posts because, you know, I'm a friend. Even though like Facebook is not where I generally get video game updates, but you know, yeah, I gotta support the team. So she posts this thing, and it's supposed to be like a teaser for their upcoming expansion pack. And it's got like, you know, some emojis, and it got a video, and the emojis are like storm clouds, and the video, the sound of it is like a storm cloud, like a storm coming, you know, like thunder and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess like in a kind of cheeky effort to make it feel like it's kind of a secret, she pixelated the storm in the middle of the video.
Did she do that?
Yes, I believe that was her decision.
Okay.
So what ended up being on Facebook was a picture of like kind of dark, where in the middle is a pixelating, writhing purple mass.
That's sus.
And so today she asks, "Hey, does anyone know anything about hentai? I have a question."
Stanford.
And I jumped in there like, this should not be a shock to anyone, but yes, I know some things. And she goes, "Everyone on Facebook is talking about one of my posts and saying that it's a little inappropriate." And I'm like, "Is it that pixelated writhing storm post?" And she's like, "Ah, shit, yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't not look like something naughty, Amy."
It's like one of those things that like it's not the thing that is it is the naughty thing, right, but it's so close to it,
right? Well, and it's your brain filling it in, right? It's like when they take like I don't know, Harry Potter clips, but they bleep the word wand, so it like your brain just assumes it's dick or whatever because it sounds like it should be a naughty word. Like it's that maneuver. So my brain saw pixelated writhing mass. I'm like, oh, something's fucking under that cloud. I don't know what's going on in there.
There's tentacles involved. Something is happening.
There's something monstrous.
I'm not saying it was hentai, but it was hentai.
Yeah, it was definitely hentai.
Or
also,
Amy.
Yeah. She's like, well, I guess I'll keep that in mind for next time. Like, yeah, you good. In completely unrelated, although weirdly not unrelated news, we finished Umbrella Academy last night.
Oh, I haven't watched the new season yet.
It's pretty good. I liked it's wrapped, like it's done.
Does it? Okay, good.
I'm finding, and I don't know if this is just because I'm an old fuck, I'm finding more and more that I like it when a show just goes ahead and ends.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, so I think that's most shows these days. Like, most don't get a chance to drag on like they used to. You know what I mean?
I like it when they're planned that way rather than like the
True.
unexpected end.
Sure,
Oh, you mean how like Netflix cancels every single one of its series?
Yeah,
that it ever
that
produces?
is, yes, that was the, yes.
Except for Umbrella Academy, apparently. Shit.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know. I need things to not drag on. Things that drag on tend to get shitty. Kind of like that pause.
Good. I was waiting for you to say something else that you never did.
No, that was my entire point. Things that take too long,
Well, like-
that drag on too long, get shitty.
You kept saying it was
Pulitzer-worthy.
not unrelated, so I figured you were going to complain about a long-running Star Trek series or something.
No. I said not unrelated because writhing tentacle masses plays a weird role in the last season of Umbrella Academy, but like, I don't want to get
Well, I
too
mean,
details.
It plays a role in some of the earlier ones too. So.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So anyway, Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek.
So yeah. Enterprise Season 3, Episode 17. We kick off with a recap of some scenes from both Twilight and Stratagem from the last couple of weeks.
Shit,
Cut
Rob's
to real
watching
time.
the recaps.
Yeah.
There was no skip button on my player.
There
So.
Oh, mine has a skip button. I skipped the shit out that recap.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
the only thing I have is a skip on the Jingle Jangle.
Yeah.
Oh, I suck that in. I watch every minute of that intro.
Horrible.
And it is multiple minutes long.
Oh, God.
It is.
Why?
See, he likes pain and suffering.
Sure.
But anyway, we kick back to real time where Enterprise is now in orbit around an unidentified planet that they discovered en route to Azadi Prime. It's got a crashed ship on it.
It did throw me because I'm like, weren't they like doing something important?
Yeah, I always find
Yeah.
it weird when they're just like, oh, there's a planet that's here. Should we go check that out? Like, did you not know that planet was there? Like, we're finding planets hundreds of light years away with a shitty telescope. Like, you couldn't use some kind of sensor to be like, there's a planet there, watch out.
Well, I think what drew them to it was, I guess they did do some sort of scan on it, because they saw some of the same metal that's used in other Xindi ship construction, and there's a crashed Xindi ship on the planet. They're unable to identify who it belongs to. So Archer asks for a team to investigate, and we cut to some Faith of the Heart.
Did
We get a cool...
I have a question about this ship.
Yeah.
Do we ever get any kind of sense as to how long it has been here? Because I initially thought it had been a while, but then later I kind of felt like maybe it had only been like a few days.
It
Yeah,
seems like a few days is more likely just by the state of everything.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's kind of what I was feeling. Because when they show up on the ship, there's like gas and shit still venting and stuff in it.
Yeah, and like as we find out later, they reroute the life support, like what's left of the power to life support. So I can't imagine it's been all that long
Right.
if the rest of the ship is like essentially dead in the water. But yeah, we get a cool little CGI scene of them flying in on a shuttle pod, landing near the ship. Archer is joined by T'Pol, Reed, Hayes, and Trip.
Yeah.
So,
on
A
his
full ass
awake
team.
So my first
Yeah.
question for this ship is, what's with all the fucking like dockyard netting hanging everywhere?
I
I mean, where else are you going to stick your eggs to?
So I actually found the inside of the ship kind of interesting because I think the
So I did find
idea,
parts of it interesting.
I think that the idea is that the insectoids crawl along walls and shit. So like they might actually
Yeah.
store things on the ceilings because they can get to it, you know?
Well, I did. You mentioned that. I did find it interesting, especially when they got to the hatchery place.
Spoilers.
That I thought it was a nice little touch. They did like the hexagon pattern and everything to make it look more,
Like a
insectoid.
bug. Yeah, like
Yeah.
a honeycomb pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, the door wasn't just like a regular door. It was just like
it was it was smaller and hexagonal and shit. Yeah.
I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, so I think that
was.
like if you're asking like why is there a bunch of shit all over the walls and stuff, I actually like I would like imagine if a human ship didn't give a shit about up and down, you know? Like look at the ISS,
Well-
there's shit all over the walls on that thing.
Fair.
Also, you got to remember this is Star Trek Enterprise, so anytime someone can take the tactically superior position of
The
up
ceiling.
on the ceiling,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
going to do it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's just good sense. Like, I mean, they're preparing for the worst here. So yeah, they find some dead insectoid Zindi on the ship, and Archer says he wants them returned to Phlox for a full autopsy,
I was like,
presumably for more war crimes.
I was like, fuck, more war crimes. That's funny. I was like, ew, dead bugs. Cause you know how like they get all curled up in the kitchen and shit, you know?
Dried out.
More on that in the deep dive. So the team continues to search the wreck. Reed and Trip come across a room with reinforced doors that seal behind them as they enter. The room then pressurizes, so it's, I guess, some sort of airlock. The next room has biosigns.
Well, sure. So what do? Because the room pressurizes.
They take their helmets off.
Fucking why? Like,
Listen.
I like how it's like, this is clearly a protocol because they're like, well, after you, because they don't want to be the first one to smell the potentially biohazardous air that they're about to be sniffing. Like, why
Right.
are you taking your fucking helmet off?
Because Hoshi's fear of confined spaces is catching on.
They're in league with the COVID Republicans. That just it's too much. It's stopping them from breathing.
Well, and as we will soon find out, there is a reason that they had to take their helmets off, because nothing in this episode's main plot was written well.
Nope. Archer and Hayes find a number of assault craft in a larger hangar bay. Right before Archer gets called over by Trip and Reed to come and look what they found.
So
it's an insectoid Zindi hatchery.
Yeah, so on the bay, like I feel like this is definitely like one of those dropped plot threads. Because like there's
that's
one
immediately what I thought too.
There's 1 5-second scene later when Trip and Travis fail to get the shuttle working, and then it's never talked about again.
I wondered about that too.
The other thing, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but I think it might have been to get one, to give Archer a reason to go back to the hatchery, and 2, to give him a reason to get Reed and Hayes out of there, because he sends them back to start ripping apart all the weapons so that they can analyze Zindi tactics, I guess, or their tactical capabilities. And that does come into play a little later on as like an excuse for why he keeps them there. So I don't know if they were just looking to make Archer not look crazy later on in this episode.
Yeah, because like, it's one of those things where it's like there's no B plot in this episode.
Yeah,
and it feels like that was trying to be one, and then just fell like dropped.
Right.
Yeah.
And
yeah. So Archer sends Reed and Hayes back to the hangar bay to evaluate the Zindi's tactical capabilities, and then immediately gets peed on by a hatching egg.
Oh, my note was Archer takes a money shot from the egg, but
Well, first he had to take his helmet off so that would do something.
Oh yeah. Well, pressurized room, so go for it. T'Pol takes him back to Phlox to treat what they said it was some sort of a neurotoxin, but it looked like he had a
mild
chemical burn
neurotoxin
on his face.
Yeah, just rub some goop on it, you'll be fine.
Did not look comfy. Reed and Hayes, meanwhile, have loaded up the Zindi bodies on a shuttle and are returning to Enterprise.
Why did they strap those down before they took off?
I don't know. But yeah, Hayes is worried that they might just be hibernating, so he kicks one just to check and make sure they don't wake up behind him.
Which I was like, oh shit, is that what's going to happen? That might be cool, but it's not. It doesn't matter. We get out of there. We never see this again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would have been a fun B plot, but we don't have a fun B plot. Instead, he brings up to Reed that he thinks more training is needed with the senior officers to basically get them to spend more time at the target range with this fun little hologram game. Reed, of course, just starts getting pissy with them. So we've got pissy Reed for most of the episode.
Although there is a point here where Major I don't know, Reed gets pissy with him. I actually kind of think Major Hayes is being an asshole here because he's like, hey, the senior officers need some more training. I was thinking Monday evenings. And Reed's like, nah, but that's that's Tucker's movie night, so we're not gonna be available on Monday evenings. And Hayes is like, "Bleh, fucking how dare you have some downtime, you motherfucker? This mission should be 24/7, bitch."
Yeah. Morale's
I don't know.
important.
I don't get that. Like, there didn't seem to be any like petulance involved when Hayes was talking. There was definitely petulance involved when Reed started talking.
So it's a fair assessment. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's just Reed's natural timbre, though, you know.
Mildly angry. So yeah, the evaluation of the situation makes it look like the Zindi sacrificed their remaining life support after crashing to save their eggs. So now, all of a sudden, Archer decides that he wants to try and save the young to show that humans aren't the cold-hearted monsters the Zindi think they are. Travis and Trip make their way back to the wreck to try and fix up the ship.
Hold on. What the fuck is this conversation? Because Archer's like, we need to not kill these hatchery things, and Trip is like, Captain, I'm all for killing some babies. Like, I think we should kill every fucking baby we see. In fact, let's go down there and find the babies and stomp them fucking flat. Fuck them babies. Like,
No,
what the fuck?
He wanted to flamethrower them, didn't he?
Would you say?
You want to use his plasma torch.
A flamethrower?
Plasma torch.
I missed that. But like,
yeah,
that's the dumbest shit. Like, what the fuck, Trip?
I mean, listen, I have definitely spent some time in Helldivers just flamethrowing some baby insects.
Look, those insects aren't sentient. That's what they told us from the government.
Super Earth knows what it's talking about.
Yeah. These ones are definitely sentient. And that was Archer's point. Like, Archer was like, yo, they're sentient. We can't just leave babies to die. And Trip's like, fuck them babies. Fuck them. I never met a baby I'd want to stomp.
But like a bug baby, not like a regular baby. He's not a monster.
I only like babies if I don't throw up when I look at them. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Archer draws the line in killing babies. Torture, totally cool. Other war crimes, super great. Killing babies, that's a no.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's got to have their line somewhere, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Travis and Trip make their way back to the wreck to start trying to fix the reactor. Progress is slow, though. Trip winds up standing up for Archer in the mess hall, while Travis and Reed kind of complain about having to stay in the system, which I get. Like, everybody's pretty antsy to see this through, and we know there's a deadline now of, a super weapon construction being finished, so everybody's kind of in a rush. Meanwhile, in sickbay, Fox is making progress on the autopsy. The insectoid Zindi he's found have relatively short lives, only about 12 years, and he expects that the eggs will hatch in the next week or so. I don't know how he makes that assumption, because he didn't see the eggs. We'll get scans of the eggs.
Rob.
Yeah.
When you do an autopsy on a bug, you can tell when their eggs will hatch. That's just how it works. You didn't know that?
I mean, in his defense, he wasn't 100% sure. It was an educated guess. So,
and he wasn't right either, because it was not a week. It was like 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. T'Pol finds Archer and Trip working on the ship's power. She's a little unnerved because Archer has stationed guards outside of the hatchery. No real good reason as to why. Like, as T'Pol mentions, there aren't any other life signs on this entire planet. So what exactly do they need guarding from?
I could see it as like a, protect against the eggs hatching. Yeah, I know he did say it. Like, I could. What I'm saying is, I don't think that seeing 2 guards there is that surprising.
Well, see, the problem is that, Chris, what you don't understand is that T'Pol is upset about the guards because, as we found out in the previous conversation, T'Pol also wants to kill them babies. And she's going to have a hard time doing that if there are guards posted outside the baby room.
That's true. Yeah.
Now, we will quickly find out that among the main cast, the only person whose opinion on killing babies we don't know is Hoshi. Everybody else wants to kill babies.
Hey, okay, I don't think T'Pol said she wanted to kill them per se. She just didn't want to help them.
That's killing. That's killing.
She weighed,
I'm a left-wing person.
She weighed the value of humanity's lives against the 31 eggs that they found.
Kill
What I'm
them
saying,
babies.
what I'm saying is she didn't describe in detail blowtorching them. Like,
She didn't need to. Someone already said it.
Yeah.
Trips like Captain, look at this. He draws like a picture of him stomping a bug. Like,
it's
see,
like
Captain, that's me. That's me killing that baby right there.
it's like after when Reed is showing Hayes that simulation thing later, they like it goes on to the next one and it's Tripp's just graphic recreation of blowtorching insectoid babies.
It's like someone took Mario but inserted Trip, and instead of Goombas, they're just like insectoid babies.
Yeah.
How funny would it have been if they had a holodeck available at this point in the series and Trip winds up like programming a scenario where he can just go in and blowtorch some babies?
Babies. So many babies.
Real sun babies.
Yep. So Trip thinks that he's got the power situation all figured out. They flip the switch, they get a surge of power, and then 2 of the eggs burst open. Archer calls a medical emergency.
By the way, to be clear, the eggs look like nutsacks. Like,
yes, they do.
And there's a lot of weird testicular stroking that happens with these eggs.
Gooey water balloons.
Yeah, Archer's real fingering on these fucking balls that are hanging from the ceiling. It's weird. It's weird physical acting. I think he was supposed to be like lovingly caressing them, but it more looked like a medical examination.
just tickle in the nutsack.
It's like, can you cough for me, please?
Yeah. Archer calls a medical emergency, has the prematurely hatched babies taken to Phlox, but the newborns don't survive.
Okay. Can we talk for a moment about how Phlox is handling this literal corpse? Because, like, I understand it's small and I guess hard because it's got an exoskeleton because it's a bug, but like, he's like,
ew.
He's holding it like it's a weird shaped chip he just pulled out of a bag. He's like, that's fucking weird. Like, I'm gonna eat it, but it's weird
what
that it's shaped like
what
this.
You didn't see later was him pouring some salt on it after they left and just
he just ate it.
Threw it
to his bat. Yeah.
No, he probably just fed it to some part of his menagerie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Archer surprisingly asks Hoshi if she has translated any of the Zindi archives, hoping that he would find some burial practices from the insectoids. T'Pol is very taken aback by this.
Yes, she is. She's like, fuck. It's like that dramatic like zoom in on a Mexican soap opera on her face as she's like, what the fuck is happening? What?
You want to bury them? Yeah. Meanwhile, Trip calls Archer to let him know that the Zindi ship is low on antimatter, so apparently that was the problem. Archer instructs T'Pol to send some of their own reserves. She decides instead to hold a little meeting with Trip and Reed.
Yeah, it's like the first like official meeting where they had quorum of the baby stomping club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they needed a mutiny so they could stomp all the babies. Which,
for
all we know, is exactly what happened after this episode ended.
They're a little concerned about Archer's behavior. T'Pol instructs Trip to delay the transfer while she goes to talk with Archer. Trip is very uneasy about this, but does comply. T'Pol winds up going back down to visit Archer in the hatchery, where he's now pretty much a permanent fixture. Phlox is very worried because he's not like getting any sleep or taking any breaks.
Mind you, he's like trying to fix the hatchery. He's not just like hanging out down there in like a throne of testicles. Like he's working on like the systems and stuff.
He's got gooey shit all over him too.
Yeah. I was gonna say like it's not just him hanging out there. Like it looks like he's bathing in whatever those things are peeing or spewing out of themselves. It's real gross.
The idea was that he had taken the time to like shower and change and stuff. He hasn't been sleeping, he hasn't been eating, he's just been working.
Interestingly enough, that uniform that he's wearing, it was like,
I just saw that.
I forget how. Yeah. So it made it into like the post-wrap auction that was done like a number of years afterwards. Yeah, it was called Distressed uniform.
Sure.
Yeah, it's real gross. So yeah, Archer tells T'Pol to send some of their own reserves as well. She refuses to carry out the order.
Hold
so
on.
Archer
Before Archer calls for her arrest, he says something very interesting here that I want to quote directly.
Okay.
But humans don't throw morality out the window when things get a little rough.
That was also my note. I'm like,
man,
After which I wrote, you tortured a medical patient 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, so Archer is more than a little peeved that she refuses to follow through with his commands, so he relieves her of her duties as first officer, and then confines her to quarters, and then has a Mako escort them back. I think it was Hayes.
It was Hayes. Did you see the extras in the background that were like, oh, Jesus, that is not our circus and not our monkeys. Let's keep working over here now.
Some good background acting there.
Yep. Trip then makes a visit to Archer in his quarters. It looks like Archer finally went back for a shower and questions his tactics with T'Pol. Trip also thinks that they aren't really doing the right thing here.
Oh, yeah. To be clear, Tucker, still pro baby killing. Like, he's all for it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he stays true to that through the entire episode, I think. Archer, meanwhile, tells him this story about his great-grandfather fighting in the eugenics wars. He was stuck in a skirmish with another general and asked the other general to wait to have the school between them evacuated of children. And he kind of equated that to what's happening here as a means to bring Trip over to his side.
Trip's like, kill them babies too. Fuck them.
Yeah. Back in the Mako hangout area, I don't actually know where this is. Hayes is showing Reed the battle simulator that he programmed.
Reed acts like he's never seen a simulation before. He's like, what are you playing your video games? What the fuck is this bullshit? It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they have a little heart-to-heart about the appropriateness of Archer confining T'Pol to her quarters.
Yeah, then they played Baby Stomper 3000 afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's the hit game of the season.
It's like, hey, Lieutenant Reed, do you want to play this game that Tucker just wrote up this afternoon?
Yeah. Trip, meanwhile, makes his way into T'Pol's quarters by telling the guard that he's there for his neuropressure treatment and threatening to call Phlox.
Did y'all say who the guard was?
Yes.
Yeah, wasn't it? What's his name?
Daniel Day-Kim.
A bunch of sci-fi series.
Yeah, yes. Daniel Day-Kim. He was in Lost, was his big recurring role for a while.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff. He's actually been in Star Trek a couple times.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was actually in Enterprise before this.
Yes, and he was in Voyager. He's an alien in Voyager.
Oh, cool. So yeah, at this point we find out that T'Pol is starting to think that mutiny is looking like a pretty good idea. Trip says that she's taking things a little too far. T'Pol then requests that Trip have Phlox perform a full medical scan on Archer, which we'll see goes not so swimmingly. Back on the bridge, Reed is now left in charge, and a Xindi ship shows up and takes a potshot at Enterprise. Reed orders the ship to turn about and return fire. They wind up destroying the ship while trying to target their impulse manifold to keep them from generating their little slipstream drive thing and jump out of the system. Archer, of course, shows up just in time to see the ship get destroyed. He's very upset about this. Yeah, saying that they should have done more to try and preserve the hatchery on that ship as well.
No.
So
oh my God, no. That is not what he said at all.
No. He was saying,
Here's the point. Because Archer was absolutely correct in every single part of this situation. Because he said, hey, dumbass, did you even try to talk to them? Because we could have handed this hatchery off to them, and then we wouldn't have had to lose our antimatter powering it up to save these babies. But instead, you didn't even try to talk to them. You just blew them the fuck up.
Okay, so they did fire first.
They fired, well, first of all, there was time between when they showed up and when that firing happens that he could have hailed them. And after they took a pot shot, they then fled. Another opportunity to hail them. So, like, he didn't
or
try.
They could have escaped.
He didn't try.
Stop it. This is a bad argument.
No, because every single time
a terrible argument. You were wrong.
Bullshit. Every time a ship shows up out of fucking warp, they hail them. Except for this time, no. Reed made a fucking terrible call. This was a stupid call.
Stop it. No, it wasn't. Stop.
This is exactly how I would have expected.
This is the correct decision
to respond in a war.
A ship comes out of whatever it is,
and
immediately attacks.
This is
and then
why
starts
Archer
to flee and is going to tell people of position. Like, no.
No, this is why Archer is surrounded by baby stompers. Y'all are just some more baby stompers. That's all you fucking
Stop
are.
it. You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous.
No, they could have done so many things.
No, this is a terrible argument.
All right, I'm going to make us some buttons. Chris and I are going to get the baby stopper buttons. So yeah, Archer is like unbelievably irate at this and relieves Reed of his position as well and also confines him to quarters. He then commits Reed's worst nightmare and makes Hayes the new tactical officer. He also tells Hoshi that when she finishes the translation to just start blasting out a distress call to the insectoid Zindi, which seems like a poor technical decision. Hayes meets Archer in his ready room and then just very willingly steps in as the new tactical officer. I was a little kind of taken aback by that because he's been telling Reed for like weeks, presumably months now, that he's not here to do this very thing. And then he does the thing.
Well,
I mean,
Hayes,
to be fair, he didn't really choose to.
Yeah. I think Hayes was trying to reassure Reed that he was not trying to take his job. Yeah, I don't think it was reasonable to expect him that like, well, you know, so the captain's going to lose his fucking mind and give me the job. So like, I'm sorry about that, Reed. Like,
Trip and Phlox make a visit to Archer in the shuttle bay as he's like loading up some antimatter barrels. Apparently, you could just throw that stuff in barrels. And asks him to receive a medical scan. Archer then starts getting paranoid, refuses treatment until after the Zindi reactor is back online, and then threatens to confine the two of them to quarters as well. Even though Trip pointed out, like, as chief medical officer, Phlox is like within his power to actually require this of Archer.
I don't know who wrote the dialogue on this particular scene because Phlox is like, according to Starfleet regulations, this, and this, I need you to come with me for a complete scan. And the captain's like, I'm going to confine you to quarters. It's like, you're surrounded by people who know that that's the regulation. So no, you're going to go with the doctor, and these Marines with guns are going to take you to the doctors. Like, that's how the regulations work. But he is like, I'm going to confine these motherfuckers to quarters. Bah. It's like, oh,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
Fuck the regs, I guess. So we're going to follow orders when we narratively want to.
Right. Yeah. Like, I didn't quite understand the how the Makos turned into his private police force very quickly.
Yeah. It was really weird.
There's a direct quote that is involved with this that I have in the last act, and it's going to be fucking funny. Because, it's that exact fucking question.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Trip and Phlox retreat back to sickbay. And then Archer, of course, returns to the surface to see the eggs getting closer to hatching.
Yeah, now these testicles are pulsating.
Yep. Yeah, they're dancing. Getting very excited. Reed, Trip, and Phlox go back to T'Pol's quarters. Trip distracts the guard at the door, and Reed and Phlox then disarm the guard at the door and bring her up to speed on the situation. Archer orders all of the remaining crew on the surface, except for himself, back to Enterprise. I'm not really sure why that happened.
So he could be weird and creepy with the eggs.
Yeah, this is the part where the goo in his fucking brain took over.
Yeah.
Like this is where he started losing some of that like fairly reasonable rationality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Back on Enterprise, Trip and team decide to take matters into their own hands, and they're just going to mutiny. We're on mutiny mode now. They go and secure the armory.
Hey, we got a momentous moment and a bingo moment right here.
Oh,
is the hat? I thought
Yes.
about that.
Yes. T'Pol gets
Yeah.
a uniform, which,
wow,
frankly, she looks great in. So they need to give her a fucking uniform. I don't know why she has to wear these fucking catsuits.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, she's got the baseball cap, which is a trivia note on the website, on Memory Alpha, that we have not seen this baseball cap since Desert Crossing.
yeah. Okay.
So,
That's cool.
so this is the first time that we can check that bingo square off.
There you go. So yeah, Trip and team secure the armory, grab some phase pistols. Then he and some random crewman, I didn't recognize this guy. They use the transporter to beam themselves down to the Zindi ship.
Yeah, it was Crewman Rando, don't you know?
Oh, okay. I miss crewman chat. So yeah, they beam themselves down to the Zindi ship while Reed leads the team back to the bridge to secure control of the bridge. Trip and crewman Dude Man see some baby Zindi scuttling around the floor. They look
They're
adorable,
so
by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the way that they design these things. Archer is very sad to see that they brought weapons into the hatchery.
It meanwhile does nothing to do anything about it. It just fondles
He doesn't
his
have a
babies.
No. Yeah, I know.
Like
he's
that
just
stopped it
enjoying
before.
having all of the little baby Zindi crawl all over him. Creepily.
So
To be clear,
Trip starts blasting.
To be clear, he's not creepy about it. I don't want it to sound like anything inappropriate is happening here. He's just like letting them crawl on him, and they are bugs, so it looks creepy, but they're just babies. He's just holding them.
Yeah. Let me tell you, if these were practical effects, there's no way Scott Bakula would have been handling these things. Meanwhile, back up in space, Reed and team burst onto the bridge right as Hayes begins to realize something strange is going on. Like, he gets a call from another Mako saying, like, hey, we found, one of the guard outside of T'Pol's quarters unconscious. It's like, surprise! Reed and team show up with guns. Hayes, of course, refuses to stand down.
It's a Mexican standoff.
Yeah, him and Reed just keep their guns trained on each other through this whole thing. Back on the ship, Archer's getting like super paternal with the baby Zindi. We do like a series of quick cuts back and forth here, so I apologize if it feels like we're getting a little bit of whiplash. Back on the bridge, Hoshi refuses the Major's orders to call down to Archer and get confirmation that something weird is going on. So Travis just jumps him from behind, forces him to the ground.
Where was he going, by the way? He just starts like backing up. Where is he headed there?
Okay, do you remember Marauders? How the Klingons just kind of like shuffle around in the strangest show of tactics ever seen in Star Trek history?
Sure, yeah.
I think that Hayes studied them thoroughly.
Makes sense.
And he was doing the same thing here. Yeah. So one of the Makos just opens fire. I think it was the same one that was interested in Trip, actually, now that I think about it.
No, it is a wildly different actor, but it is still a brunette, like, white woman.
Yeah.
So, like, I understand your confusion, because when I first saw her, I was like, oh, is that what's her face? But it is definitely not.
No, I don't think we ever actually see her again.
No, it happened very quickly. I didn't put two and two together, I guess. But yeah, she opens fire, hits one of the security team members, but then the rest of the bridge crew just like fire at all the Makos all at once and stun everybody, and then successfully take back the bridge. Hooray!
This is one of those times where it's like, so we were just talking about Mexican standoff. Does that work in Star Trek? Because, like, if you stun someone, they just kind of slump to the floor. I don't think I've ever seen... Has it ever happened in Star Trek where someone got stunned, and as they stunned, like, they fired their weapon?
Yes.
When?
Lots of times. I've seen it, like, in many firefights. Fucking, like, I don't know how many times I've seen somebody, like, shoot and, like, or get shot, and they're still fine. Like, tons of times.
That is true.
I mean, I know Archer Boromired those fucking insectoid fucking phasers a few episodes ago, but
yeah. So yeah, they drag Archer back to get a complete medical scan with Phlox. Turns out the Zindi egg pea chemically altered his brain to become obsessed.
I don't like the term egg pea. I'm going to put that out there right now.
Oh, yeah, because egg spooge is way better.
Yeah. Just egg skeet. Come on.
Listen, we already had a spooge monster. We don't need spooge eggs.
This makes me really want a Cadbury egg.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. I think I just vomited a little in my mouth.
You're welcome.
Can't eat those anymore. So, yeah, they finally figure out what's going on. Hayes and Reed talk briefly before Hayes leaves sickbay. He admits that he probably would have sided with the captain over them even if they had gone to him first.
Okay, hold on. I want to read you this conversation because I wrote it down word for word because it is that stupid.
Okay.
Hayes, you could have come to me and explained everything. Reed, we couldn't take the chance you would have sided with the captain. Hayes, I probably would have. Then no, they couldn't come and explain everything to you. What the fuck are you talking about? You could have come and explained everything to me. I'd have shot you, but you could have done that. Like, I don't know why you didn't do that. What the fuck, man? Like, what the fuck is Hayes saying?
I know. Well, this is also, so earlier when they were talking in, like right before the little simulation, Hayes even told Reed, like, he thought that the captain did the right thing and that if one of the Marines had disobeyed an order like that, he would have thrown him in the stockade.
Yep. I think that was the foreshadowing to let you know that Hayes would side with the captain.
Right, and I don't disagree that Hayes would have sided with the captain. That's fine. I want to know why he started this conversation with, you could have come to me and explained everything. Because, then he clearly says, actually, that wouldn't have worked. I don't know why I said that. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, at least he's honest with himself.
There you go. Yeah.
So after treatment, Archer's put on bed leave.
What was the point of this scene? This was stupid.
The Porthos cameo? Duh.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Trip goes to check on Archer. He says that he feels awful about having to stun Archer, which, I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like there's many side effects to being stunned. I wouldn't feel that bad if, it meant saving the crew like he had.
Yeah, and Archer is, very jokey about the whole thing. I'm like, maybe don't be that jokey about you, almost, turning into an insect bomb.
Almost saving babies?
Stop.
Successfully saving all the babies?
Fortunately,
confining all his officers.
Yeah.
Maybe they shouldn't be fucking baby stomping.
I'm just glad we didn't get another cogenitor ending where Archer just irrationally screamed at Trip about how he behaved in an episode.
I'm not sure I am glad, to be honest, because Trip was in the wrong.
All right.
I don't think that's true.
Stanford's team Cindy.
Yeah, he is. So
our team don't kill babies. Yeah, put me down for that.
You are a race traitor. Archer agrees to actually get some rest.
It's interesting. That's not the first time he's been called that. No, you called your father one.
No, I called my father that while I was hallucinating because he was collaborating with the aliens I thought were taking over the Earth.
Oh,
yeah, hallucinations are not fun until afterwards, by the way.
Yeah, you should talk to Fox about that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Archer winds up agreeing to actually get some rest and has Trip tell Travis to direct them to Azadi Prime at maximum warp. And that wraps the episode. So what do you guys think about this one?
You go ahead, Chris.
I mean, honestly, I think it was just a 3. It was pretty fine. That's what I have for this episode. It was fine.
Stanford?
I have it at a 2. And it missed. Here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. So, they could have made this episode better if they had not done the egg cum thing. Just let Archer be invested in saving these babies at the expense of everything else. He's got that anecdote from his great-grandfather. He's, he's decided to stake his own humanity on, this decision. Those are reasonable things to do in this kind of show. So that's what they should have fucking done. You didn't even have to change that much. Just like, and that's why, like, when the scan was normal from Phlox, I had just this momentary hope. I was like, oh shit, is that what they're gonna do? But then no, they did this fucking deep scan nonsense, and then him with the fucking broodmother scene or whatever the fuck he's doing there. My issue with this episode is that, and also I'm not sure what the writers were trying to accomplish, because the moral conundrum seemed to be, hey, maybe like even in the throes of war, we can still save our humanity by saving babies, versus, but the mission is compromised if we try to save these babies. But like, the resolution wasn't, yeah, you're right, we should have saved those babies. I think that, like, if this episode could have been a 3 out of 5 if they had added one sentence in that last useless scene where Archer said, like, it's a good thing that I got infected by that thing, or else we may have let them die. End of episode. Because then at least, like, the moral argument gets made, you know? But instead it's just, Archer wants to save the babies. Everybody else wants to kill these babies. And the only reason Archer doesn't want to also kill these babies is because he's got this chemical in his brain. And that's just not, it's not a good philosophical demonstration of anything. It's just stupid.
See, I came to a 3 out of 5.
You came like that egg?
Yep, just like that egg. But I came to a conclusion because of basically the opposite logic that you've applied here. So I thought that the story had flaws, but despite that, I like episodes of Star Trek where we get to learn about the other species, because I feel like that's something that is often ignored in Star Trek. So I liked learning about this bit of insectoid Xindi biology. I thought that it was interesting to explore.
Okay, so you really enjoyed learning about how stompable their babies are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 would have stomped them babies.
We even got to see how the eggs explode. Yeah.
Listen, you know those 500-kilogram bombs they give you in Helldivers? That's what I'm dropping on this ship.
And
look,
like,
they're not friend-shaped, okay? So they're not friends.
They're not friends.
I
don't know. Archer seemed to have friends with them. And like, that's fine. Like, that is true. We did learn some interesting things about the insectoids. That's why it's a 2 out of 5. Like, there was some merit in all of this for me. But I can't, like, I have such a hard time ignoring these, like, presented moral conundrums that are either presented poorly or presented in the wrong way. Because, like, who are we supposed to be rooting for here? It seemed like it was supposed, like, the way that the dialogue was, the way that the cameras were shot, the way that the scenes were set up, and the characters interacted with one another. It seemed like the audience was supposed to be rooting for Trip and them. But, like,
yeah, you're supposed to root for the baby stompers.
I'm not rooting for baby killers. Like, that's just not who I am.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like, I think they, with Archer's dialogue, they gave him a lot of dialogue that made him seem very reasonable, very rational, until the very end. They're like, he's got, bug sperm on his brain.
Right. And I don't know how these scripts are written. Obviously I wasn't there in the room, but, like, up until that moment, the egg jizz didn't even seem to matter. So I'm wondering if, like, that was a later addition to the script in order to make the ending work for them, you know?
I don't think so. I think, much like last week's episode, I think that they just did a better job of writing in general. They didn't, like, get too excited and, like, blow the whole plot in the first 15 minutes like they did with
but they did, though. No, they did, though. There is no writer in that room that is not immediately assuming that if the audience sees jizz hit him in the face, and then it's like, it's just a light neurotoxin. Like, there's no way anyone with any kind of, like response to this show who watches it would be like, oh yeah, I'm sure it was just the neurotoxin. It's fine. It's fine. It's weird that Archer, Jonathan war criminal Archer is like, let's save these babies. Like, no. But, like, we were definitely shown that jizz was the problem from the get-go.
even you said, though, like at the point where they're back in Archer's quarters and he's telling Trip the story about his grandfather, that you were holding out hope that
I know.
maybe
Yeah.
it really was just
I held
Archer
out
being a
hope
good
that they
guy.
weren't shitty writers, and I was wrong. I once again let down. Because, like, and this is the thing, it would be fine if this was just like egg jizz made him do something stupid. But the egg jizz put him on the correct side of this moral conundrum, which is no matter how bad war gets, you shouldn't hurt innocent people.
Yeah.
But, like, the egg jizz is what let him do that. And then they never address the actual moral conundrum. They have the audience root for Trip, who is pro baby stomping. And then, like, at the end, it's like, well, 11 of them lived, I guess. See ya. Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know. I liked how the Zindi ship looked. 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess my thing was I just totally ignored the moral conundrum of this because it wasn't presented in a coherent manner.
That probably would have been a better decision. If I could go back in time and just ignore that part, this episode may have gotten up to a 3.
No. I just took it as, oh, this is just a thing where the captain goes crazy. Okay.
Yeah. I really love how at the end, I think it was Phlox who was saying, like, oh, but it's okay. We're pretty sure the life support will hold out until another Zindi ship comes and checks on them. So, like, none of this mattered. Not in the grand scheme of things, anyway. Like, it was just a weird little diversion.
No, it did matter because the antimatter, them getting the reactor fixed, let the life support stabilize for the few days. They did do that.
Oh, I didn't.
That was accomplished.
I didn't think they had gotten the antimatter down there. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Archer took those cans down himself. He cracked some cold hard antimatter cans and dumped them in. I don't know if you have to like siphon. Do you need like a mint for the antimatter? Like like a tube?
Yeah, like tap it like a keg, I think.
Oh man.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
You just said cracked like a cold hard antimatter can. That for whatever reason that popped that old like CG sequence from like StarCraft where like the Marines are bringing that like bomb in and they got it like in ice and they like crack a beer. And
there's ice. Beer in with the ice. I forgot about that. Jesus, what a fucking memory,
right?
It's amazing how much you forget about the video games you play, but you remember that, Chris.
Hey, third things, they stick in there. What can you say?
Yeah, that is a good point, Rob.
Like before just now, I could never have told you that like off the top of my head, but something about what you said, accessed the file in the back of my brain that had that memory.
Meanwhile, like, I can still give you the exact quotes and cadence of, like, the first cutscene from that game. Where they hit the fucking Zergling with their truck.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Zergling, Lester.
It's a Zergling, Lester.
It's a Zergling.
But this little feller wouldn't be out here this far unless... Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
I love you, Sarge. Yeah. Burned into my fucking memory forever. This, 30-year-old memory almost? Yeah, 25
it's
years
so
at
good.
least.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, man. Classic Blizzard made some amazing cutscenes.
Blizzard still makes good cutscenes. Like the Diablo 4 cutscenes are the only good part of that game.
Mean.
All right. Well, why don't we take a break here and we'll come back for this week's deep dive.
I do just want to say it's probably not best practice to go through your life ignoring the moral conundrum that's being presented.
Look, I didn't ignore it. It just wasn't presented in an effective way. So
dude, you must have had a very easy time playing Frostpunk.
I mean, look, they're just gonna eat a little sawdust. It's fine.
God, Jesus Christ.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. So for this week's deep dive, as I mentioned in my rating, I was pretty interested in learning more about the Zindi biology in this week's episode. So I thought it would be fun to take a look at some real-world examples of similar life forms, specifically parasites, and how they can sort of like mind control their hosts in interesting ways.
All right, hold on 1 second. Can we talk about your weird racism here? Because you're like, I wanted to look at some real world examples of these indie species, so I looked at fucking parasites, these fucking shitbags.
The only reference that makes sense here.
Well, like,
I was like, when I think of this sentient species from Star Trek, I think of parasites.
so no, I don't equate them with parasites. It's more that action is very common biologically in Earth-based parasites.
Oh, there's a bug that lays eggs with cum shots in it?
We'll get there.
Oh, shit. Oh, now I'm tantalized.
Yeah, so I picked some of the more interesting examples, or some of the ones that I was kind of a little surprised about. Number one, so rabies is considered a parasitical virus. So the reason is it's caused by viruses of the lysovirus genus, and it's spread through contact with animal mucous membranes or wounds, right? The reason why they say that it is parasitic is it causes increased salivation, right? So like you get that frothing mouth thing. It also makes the host get urges to bite other living beings to help maximize the chance of transmission.
Isn't there a hydrophobia thing too?
There is. Do you know why? I found out why.
Hold on.
This research.
I'm trying to remember. I think it's because if they drink water, it makes it so that they'll wash that saliva that's infectious down, so they don't want that to happen.
That's exactly why.
Wow.
Yeah, so it makes the host fear water to make sure that it's got the maximum amount of infected saliva available when you bite somebody.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
How terrifying is that?
That's wild that it goes that deep.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it still to this day only one person has survived rabies and she was kind of like fucked up for life?
I would be surprised to learn that anybody survives it, because one of the things that happens is you get a fever so high your
brain melts.
Your brain just
there's like they can prevent it, and like in very early stages, if they catch it early enough, they can stop it. But like at a point, it becomes like literally unsurvivable. And I think this was true at least when I first learned about rabies back in like high school. That like in history, only one girl had ever survived, and she was like brain damaged for life because of it.
Well, I know that none died of it.
This the one in Scrubs?
No. House,
yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Didn't the organ donor die of rabies? Or like had rabies? There was this whole Scrubs thing where Cox implanted 3 organs into 3 people and they all died because like there was rabies.
That's unfortunate.
It's pretty terrible.
Yeah. So viruses can be considered parasites. Protozoa. So these are like animal-based single-celled organisms. Can also be considered parasitical.
Are those like amoebas?
No. Well, sort of. So the one that's most common, and I think that you'll recognize it. Well, actually, it's not even most common, but it's the one that a lot of pregnant women have to watch out for. Toxoplasma gondii. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I don't know Greek or Latin. The primary hosts are felines, usually cats. It's spread through fecal matter, which is why they say pregnant women shouldn't scoop cat litter.
Is this the one that makes us like cats?
Yes. Because the primary target are rodents and other small mammals that would either come into contact with or eat the feces. The parasite then modifies their behavior to make them act more extroverted and less scared of cats. So the goal is to make them get eaten by cats, because the cat's internal system is where they can reproduce.
Makes the mice more really extroverted weird. Because like the place where cats eat is like little mice raves and concerts and stuff. So it makes them want to go to those.
Yeah. Well, I was reading too. There's apparently some evidence that it makes the mice seek out cat urine, so it puts them in places where the cat is likely to be, so that they'll get spotted. It's really crazy. Yeah. The other one that surprised me, I didn't know this. Plasmodium falciparum. It is the thank you. It's the bacteria behind malaria is also a parasite. So it affects mosquito behavior. First, when it's ingested by the mosquito, it will cause them to increase their sugar intake. So they'll stop drinking blood and start drinking nectar. And the goal is to get as many calories as it can to quickly reproduce and then grow and mature. And then once it's prepared, it switches the mosquito's behavior to start seeking out human blood so that it will quickly get transmitted.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
Yeah. That's really fucked. Other things that are considered parasites, helminths. These are like worms, like tapeworms and stuff.
Not like those things you wear on a motorcycle?
Yeah. I found a really funny named one called microphallus.
I don't know what that's like. Am I right, boys?
So yeah, this one infects snails. It makes them move out on top of rocks near water sources during daylight and avoid the undersides of rocks near water sources so that it doesn't get eaten by fish, because it wants to reproduce inside of birds. And the waterfowl will frequent the rocks looking for snails and then consume them. So there's a helicopter flying above.
Yeah,
here.
like a helicopter basically just buzzed our house.
Yeah. Yeah, so the goal of this one is to get eaten by waterfowl instead of fish. So that's how it modifies the snail's behavior. The next is a word that I am terrified of trying to pronounce, but here we go. Schistocephalus solidus. That was actually pretty good. This is a type of tapeworm.
I fought that dragon in Skyrim. He's the one.
Yeah. So this is a parasitic tapeworm that actually has 2 intermediate hosts and then 1 definitive host. As babies, it's like free swimming larvae that like live in fresh water. They get ingested by copepods, which are tiny little crustaceans that live in a lot of bodies of fresh water. Those little crustaceans then get eaten by the second intermediate host, the 3-spined sickleback, which I guess is a common freshwater fish. They said it's all over the world, essentially. And then finally, after reaching maturity in the fish, those fish are manipulated to decrease their defense response around predatory birds. So the birds just eat them. The virus then, or not the virus, the worm then reproduces inside of the bird's body and then gets spread through more feces. There's a lot of poop.
It seems like these parasites are all about getting eaten by the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up are fungi. So the big one here is the Phyllocordyceps unituralis. Or unilateralis.
Yay, cordyceps.
Yeah, cordyceps. Apparently most cordyceps just like got reclassified a couple years ago. They're no longer cordyceps, they're Phyllocordyceps.
No, that's unacceptable. I've played too many video games and read too many books and seen too many movies that just calls it cordyceps, so that is what it is forever.
Yeah, so these are the cordyceps of The Last of Us fame. Same kind of thing. In the wild, it targets ants, and it gets picked up on forest floors by the ants. They ingest it. Then on their way back up to, apparently it's primarily infects tree-bound ants. So on their way back up the tree, it induces muscle convulsions to knock them out of the canopy and back to the forest floor. Then they start to climb back up to a certain height and a certain humidity. The cordyceps are looking for a very specific amount of moisture and the right temperature and the right air pressure to reproduce at maximum efficiency.
Jesus.
Once it reaches a leaf at the appropriate height, the cordyceps will then lock the muscles of the ant's mandible so that it can't leave the leaf. And it just leaves it there frozen while it, and I quote, fruits inside of the exoskeleton of the ant.
Don't like any of that.
It produces a stalk that shoots out of the head of the ant that eventually bursts open and releases more spores back down to the forest floor to get picked up by more ants.
See, this is why I want to respect and love mushrooms, but I have a hard time.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah.
So at what point do we decide that maybe the funguses shouldn't know what the humidity is outside of an ant and there's something else going on here? Because that's fucking terrifying.
So, no, the real terrifying part of this...
It's crazy.
The real terrifying part of this is that these cordyceps spores get ingested at such a high rate by ants in the colony that this creates mass graveyards of ants.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
Not a super big fan of that.
No, I really hope this one never makes a jump to humans.
Jesus, Rob.
That's how you get the best of us.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, in that genre, The Girl with All the Gifts is an excellent book.
Okay.
But okay.
It's about like
genre.
zombie cordyceps zombies and stuff.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. She the titular girl is like a zombie, and it's a fucking great book.
Weird. Next up, parasitic insects. So, like, again, this is just the highlights. There's a disturbing amount of parasitic wasps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The creepiest one that I found was the emerald cockroach wasp. It has a single predatory target. It is the American emerald cockroach. It attacks the cockroach by first stinging it in the thorax to paralyze its legs. Then it stings it directly in its brain. It spreads a neurotoxin that enforces a state of hypokinesia. So this poor cockroach is alive, but it can't move any of its muscles. It then drags it back to its burrows and injects its eggs into the cockroach, a la like the Alien franchise. The babies then hatch a few weeks later in what has been kept as a relatively fresh cockroach because it's still alive, which they then eat from the inside out to escape.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Don't like that one.
Okay.
The other is
My stomach hurts.
Yeah. The other is a family of flies called Pseudodactyon. All of these species parasitize fire ants. They inject eggs directly into the ant's thorax. After hatching, the larvae moves through the thorax up towards the ant's head. Drinking,
like in The Mummy?
Yeah. Drinking the hemolymph, which is apparently blood in invertebrates. Or blood and lymph, kind of the same material, it sounds like. So it ingests the hemolymph and it eats whatever muscles and nerve tissue that it finds as it goes along. It then, after it makes its way up to the skull, directs the ant to leave the nest and go to a moist, leafy grave, where it then devours the ant's brain, pops its head off, hence its nickname, the decapitating fly.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And then to wrap this all up, did you know that there are parasitic crustaceans?
I didn't, but I'm not
Okay,
surprised.
so like I think I know, but what is a crustacean? Like what does the set of animals include that is called crustacean?
Derived barnacles.
Say animals.
So I believe the species is called Rhizocephala. These things attach to crabs. So have you ever seen like female crabs that are carrying eggs on their back? Have you ever seen pictures of that?
No.
These barnacles attach to the same part of the body where the female usually carries the eggs and basically convince the crab that they are the eggs of the crab. So it encourages a nurturing behavior so that the crab will protect it. A lot of the time, it will remain with the crab for the life of the crab.
I wonder if this was the inspiration for this episode.
Yeah. Sometimes it will fall or get taken off by a predator, in which case it takes the crab's gonads with it.
Oh, God.
And what's really interesting is in a lab, scientists did this on purpose to see what would happen.
Jesus,
And
poor crab. Was Tucker in charge? What the fuck?
Apparently. But what's interesting about it is when the eggs were removed, previously male crabs would then grow either full or partial female genitalia.
That's just interesting.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. So the thought is that these little barnacles mess with their hormones so much it actually like changes their gender effectively.
So
Yeah,
wild.
they probably can't run in the Olympics then.
Yeah, that's true. Or box.
God damn it.
Not allowed to box in the Olympics. Makes people
So
cry.
is a crab a crustacean?
Yes.
You didn't answer my question at all, Rob.
Well, that's what you didn't know. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what all are crustaceans.
Yeah, crabs, lobsters, shrimp, apparently barnacles fall under that classification as well.
Okay,
It seems like it's basically anything in the ocean with a hard shell.
Mollusks are like snails and stuff.
What's a clam?
I think those are also crustaceans.
Clams are crustaceans too. They don't look a goddamn thing like a bug.
You're right.
I don't
They
know
look
if
like a
that's right.
sunflower seed.
Hold on, let me see. I think it's something different actually.
Are those bivalves? Is a bivalve a thing?
Yeah, they are
crustaceans
bivalves.
or mollusks.
What?
Crustaceans or not crustaceans. Clams or mollusks.
Clams or mollusks?
Yeah, because like if you look at them, what they
okay.
look like inside alive, they're actually not too different from what a slug or
Wait, a slug is a mollusk? It doesn't even have a shell.
slug might not be a mollusk.
Is a snail a mollusk?
I'm pretty sure a snail is.
All right.
All right, I'm glad that y'all don't know for sure because I thought maybe I was just stupid.
Snails are mollusks, yes.
Okay.
Are slugs?
Real important question here. Is a Pop-Tart a ravioli?
Yes, slugs are mollusks as well.
No, it's not pasta. So
Is the ocean
but
soup.
is a hermit crab a mollusk or a crustacean? I guess he didn't grow the shell. He
That's a
found the
crustacean.
shell, so that's a crustacean. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like a
crabs-
nautiloid is a mollusk?
Yeah, like when I think crustaceans, I think like crab, lobsters, shrimp.
Okay. Things with legs.
Yeah, little pincers.
So,
Okay.
mollusks have a mantle or mass of soft flesh that covers the soft body and encloses the internal organ. That is apparently the defining feature of a mollusk.
You know, that does not help me at all because those words don't really make sense in that order. So I believe you. Yeah, fine.
In many species, the mantle produces a hard shell. Not all mollusks produce a shell. Many
Well, yeah, because slugs don't.
Many mollusks have a radula, which in most species is a rasp-like scraping organ used in feeding.
The fuck does that mean?
I mean, Mollusca is the second largest phylum of invertebrates. So I think all of these animals are classified in there.
Guessing after insects, probably.
Yes. Well, arthropoda.
Arthropods.
Arthropod, isn't that spiders?
This phylum is, it says
That's
this phylum is
arachna.
divided into 7 or 8 taxonomic classes.
All right. Well, there you go. Your biology lesson for the week.
Yeah.
We're going to take another break here, and we will be back for some potpourri.
Welcome back, everybody. So today for Potpourri, I thought of this game last week, and so I actually took some time to write up a little game for us. This game is called Catchphrase. Here's how it's going to work.
Wait, isn't that already a game?
It is a game, yes.
Oh shit, it is. I was saying catchphrase like Ryan Reynolds' character from Free Man. Was it Free Man?
Catchphrase. Yeah. Free guy.
Free guy. That's right. He was catchphrase. But yeah, that is a good. All right, well, catchphrase parentheses as a Ryan Reynolds reference, not a reference to the game catchphrase.
But we're gonna play a game.
It's a good game. So,
Okay.
what I've done is I have collected all of the "Let's go to warp" catchphrases that the captains have said, and we are going. Y'all have to guess them.
Okay.
Is this like a first to the bell or just like...
So I would do first to the bell, except Rob is in the same house as me, so it doesn't seem fair.
That's not fair.
So let's we'll go in order, and we can and then if you don't get it right, the other person can steal it. That kind of situation.
Okay.
All right. So we will start with Rob actually.
Okay.
All right, and honey, can you keep score? God forbid we ask our producer to produce. Okay, let me know when you're ready, honey.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. All right, we're gonna start with Rob. Ahead warp factor 1.
Kirk.
That is correct. He actually didn't really have a steady one, but that is the one he used the most.
That would have been my guess.
All right, Chris. I ordered these ahead of time before I decided who was who, so like apologies if these end up being one-sided. That is pure chance. Now that I've said that, it's going to sound like I stacked this against somebody on purpose. I did not.
I was gonna say.
All right, Chris. Yours is go.
Go?
Mm-hmm.
Go.
All Star Trek except for Prodigy is available, and the animated series. But I guess that would just be Kirk. So
Go. Is this Saru?
it is not Saru. Rob, do you have a guess?
Is it Spock from Strange New Worlds?
It is not Spock from Strange New Worlds. His is, because I do not have this on here, I would like for the ship to go now.
Okay. I knew it was something funny like that.
Yeah, he wasn't actually a
remember that
captain,
episode.
so I didn't include him. But yes, like his is, I would like for the ship to go now.
Is it like Cisco or something weird?
It's Lorca, actually.
Lorca. Okay.
Lorca.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, we'll let since neither of you got that, because I don't want it to be unfair. We'll let Chris go again. Okay. Is that fair? I don't know. I don't know how this fucking works.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Well, you didn't know the answer either. It's not about. I don't know. All right, fine. You can have this one, Rob, because you're gonna get it. Engage.
Oh, come on.
Picard.
I know, right? I tried, Chris. I tried. So, do you want to guess there, Rob? Or?
He said it.
Oh, I said Picard. Yeah.
Oh no, that's actually not right. No. All right, Chris. I'm feeling good about this one, especially given something you already said. Execute.
Saru?
That one is Saru. Yeah, that one's Saru.
Yeah.
I did kind of know that one.
Yeah. All right, Rob. Let's go.
Pike.
Nope.
Oh, I know Pikes.
I don't remember Pikes then.
Let's go.
If Chris doesn't get it, can I make a guess? Because I kind of
Sure.
have an idea.
You can make a guess. It just won't be worth anything.
Yeah, that's okay.
Is it Cisco?
It is not Cisco, Rob.
Did you say it is Cisco?
It is not Cisco.
Why would he say Rob?
Is it Janeway?
It's not Janeway either. It is actually Archer. This
Oh.
is what Archer says.
Oh, that's right. Because he never actually
Oh.
says it.
Yeah, because they don't go to warp all that often. Would you say, bro?
Yeah.
You motherfuckers been watching this for how long now?
He doesn't
He
say
doesn't
it in the
really
show. I
say
think he said it in the
anything.
first episode. And that
He
was
says it a few. He says it like it's the thing he says the most, even though it only happens a few times. All right, Rob's turn. Do it.
Do it. Do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Is this Burnham? I haven't seen any episodes where she's in command of the ship yet.
It
sounds
is
like
not
something she
Burnham.
would say. Okay.
Do it. What? Do it. What the fuck is do it?
Short and to the point.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Oh. Is it the one captain guy from Picard?
No,
I can't remember his name.
it is. That guy's name is Rios.
Rios.
Uh,
No.
it
I'm talking about the last season.
Oh, shit! I don't remember his name.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. No, this is actually Janeway. So usually Janeway says engage, but
Okay,
when she
that's what I
doesn't,
remembered.
but when she doesn't, she says do it.
Okay.
That's her like quick one because Picard said engage even when it was like a real fucking quick emergency. She's always like just do it. Let's go.
No,
all right,
Archer says let's go.
That's true. Chris, here's your next one. Dale.
Is it Rios?
And that one is Rios. Yes, you're very good at predicting the one ahead of time. Yeah, that's the one for Picard. Rob, punch it.
Chewie.
Pike.
Which Pike?
Strange New Worlds.
Nope.
Ooh. I will let you have it because it is Pike, and I did not stipulate that ahead of time, but this one is from the Kelvin universe.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very Pike thing to say.
Oh, yeah. Chris, let's fly.
Fuck. What a dork.
You're not wrong.
Let's fly. I vaguely recall this. Is that not like Kelvin Kirk, is it?
It's not. No, he doesn't have one, actually.
Really? Okay.
He only tells the ship to go to warp like 2 times, and he said something different both times.
Okay.
Rob, do you have a guess?
Let's fly. Let's fly.
I remember hearing this. I don't remember who it was, though.
This feels like something a younger captain would say. I don't think that it's like Picard or Pike. I guess we don't really have too many young captains. Well, Kirk was young. Burnham is young. I don't think it was Kirk.
What's
Is this
your answer?
Burnham?
It is Burnham.
Yeah, I was going to say, as soon as you said Burnham, I'm like,
I was
oh,
gonna
shit,
guess it. I was like, I know this one.
Shit.
It's Burnham. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, goddamn it, that's who it is.
All right. This one is for Rob. Warp me.
Does that like fuck me?
Warp me, baby. I guess there's only so many ways to say go, right?
Oh, warp me.
Warp me, daddy.
All right, this is gotta be something goofy. Is it Freeman?
It is Freeman, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Used a little less often when going to warp, but used so many times elsewhere. Chris, your next one is Make It So.
Oh, it's Picard.
That is Picard, yes.
Make it so, make it so, make it snow.
All right, Rob.
I can only ever think of him saying that to make it snow, make it snow, make it snow.
Oh, yeah, because of that clip, yeah. Rob, it's warp time.
Oh, God.
Like hammer time?
It's warp time. I feel like this is from Lower Decks, and it's going to be something weird. I don't know, Riker?
It is not Riker, Chris.
Is that also Freeman?
That is also Freeman.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember her
Yeah,
trying
because
several different ones.
She was trying different ones, yeah, because she didn't like how they sounded.
Well, I was thinking it might have been
Ransom.
like I don't know, one of the other characters was just temporarily
Yeah, no,
on
I
the
got
bridge
you.
or something.
Okay, last one, Chris, hit it.
Oh, that's Pike.
Strange New Worlds Pike, yes.
Yep.
Now,
Oh,
I have a
instead of
lightning
punching.
round for you all.
Good, because it's tied.
It's tied. Oh my god,
Is it
I could not have
really?
asked for that to work
5-5.
out perfectly. I have a lightning round for you, and this lightning round is called I'm a Doctor, Nada.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
I am going to give you an I'm a Doctor, Nada line, and you have to tell me which doctor it is. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
All right. First one goes to Chris. You answer that last one. So, Rob, I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
Beverly Crusher.
No.
Is that Bones?
That is Bones. Which one?
Oh, God.
TOS Bones?
TOS Bones.
Oh. Okay.
All right, Chris. I'm a doctor, not a historian.
Doctor, not a historian.
I did try to pick ones because there are a lot of these. I did try to pick ones that were like had some hints in there, so it's not just like a random guessing game.
There's a hint in there? Jesus. Okay.
Well, like the kind of thing that a doctor might. I don't know. It'll make more sense once you
Okay.
hear about.
I don't know. Bashir?
That is correct, actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
good job. All right, Rob. I'm a doctor, not a voyeur.
Voyeur.
I've tried. The problem is, I know how a lot of these are said. I'm trying not to do their voice because that would give it away.
Is it the
immediately.
doctor?
Yes.
I was
Which
gonna say,
doctor? That's the whole point.
Okay. Yeah.
Which doctor, Rob?
But is it the doctor?
Which
Like from,
the doctor?
From Voyager.
Yes, it is that one.
Yeah, it's the AMH. Yeah, I remember that one.
All right, Chris. I'm a doctor, not an escalator.
That's the AMH too, right?
What'd you say?
That's the AMH as well, isn't it?
That is not.
Really?
Rob?
Is it Bones from Kelvin?
Ooh, you were so close. It is not Bones from Kelvin. It is Bones from TOS.
Doctor, what is the context of that?
I actually don't know. I didn't even care. I was just looking at it. I'm like, escalator sounds old-timey enough that might be a little clue as to being TOS, because, like, who the fuck's is escalator in, the newer Star Treks?
Mm.
All right. So, Rob, this one's for you. I'm a doctor, not a doorstop.
I'm a doctor, not a doorstop. I don't know. What doctor holds open doors for people? They have automated doors. They're on starships. This is dumb.
Damn.
Doctor, not a doorstop. I don't know. TOS Bones?
Nope, Chris.
Is it in Benga?
It is not. This is the EMH from First Contact.
Oh, okay.
Because Beverly
the
asked
Borg
him to keep the Borg occupied because they're about to come through the door.
Yeah, I remember now.
So actually, technically not capital T, capital D, the Doctor, because it is a different EMH, but it is still Robert Picardo.
Interesting.
All right, Chris. I'm a doctor, not a torpedo technician.
I'm just trying to think of like episodes that had the Doctor anywhere near a torpedo. The only one I can think of is the EMH.
Whoa, good guess, because there was that twice that motherfucker was next to a torpedo, but no. Rob?
Phlox?
I have a guess.
Yeah, go ahead, honey.
It's Bones from the Kelvin timeline.
That is correct. The second movie where he's doing the torpedo work with the Admiral's daughter.
I've always wanted to be on a deserted planet with a beautiful woman, but this wasn't what I had in mind.
This wasn't what I had in mind, yeah. Like, so, well, what can these legendary hands do for you? Yeah. All right, so that was to Rob, or was that to Chris? I don't remember.
That was to Chris.
That was to Chris. Yeah.
Rob, I'm a physician, not an engineer.
All right, which one would refer to themselves as a physician? Phlox?
That is correct, it is Phlox.
Yeah.
We just watched that episode.
Yeah, it was like 2 episodes ago, yeah. Or maybe even the last episode. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it was the one where he was running the ship for everybody. That's right.
Yep. All right, Chris, last one.
It's a tiebreaker.
Oh, shit.
Get it wrong, Chris.
Here we go. I'm a doctor, not a dragon slayer.
Jesus Christ. Doctor, not a dragon slayer. Is that Bones?
That is not Bones.
Is this Mbenga from the fantasy episode of Strange New Worlds?
That is an excellent guess, but no. This is Voyager's The Doctor holodeck episode.
Interesting. Okay.
All right, we're going to do a tiebreaker real quick. Since apparently y'all are tied still.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
All right. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to count how many times this line, I'm a doctor, nada, occurs on that Memory Alpha page of this. And then y'all are going to just give me a guess on how many times you think it happens, basically in the whole franchise.
Price is Right rules?
Yeah, no, just closest. Not closest without going over. I don't want to do that bullshit with the $1 nonsense.
No, Price is Right rules.
Speaking of which, I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer is the first time that was ever uttered. That's why I used that one first. It was Devil in the Dark.
So how many times I'm a Doctor Nada has been used in Star Trek?
Correct. I should not count out loud.
How long this is taking is giving us a clue.
It's actually more scrolling through because they list ones that are similar, but I'm not counting them.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
All right. 42.
Okay, Rob?
See, I think that it didn't happen as often as we would assume that it did. I was going to guess 20.
So Rob would be closest. The number is 29.
Interesting. Okay.
Although y'all were like on either side of it pretty close.
Yeah.
Can you guess which doctor said it the most?
Bones, right?
No, it was the doctor from Voyager.
Yeah. He did say it a lot.
Out of 29, he said it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 times.
My.
So he actually said most of them.
Wow.
I guess that was just like a running gag with him then?
Yeah, he says it all the time. I'm a doctor, Mr. Neelix, not a decorator. I'm a doctor, not a bartender. I'm a doctor, not a voyeur.
Yeah, maybe that's what threw me off, because I did remember him saying it a lot.
He does, yeah. And he's got a good cadence for it, the actor.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that would be that. This is a pretty long episode for us. Like we say at the top and the bottom, go ahead and shoot us a like, shoot us a review, like 5 stars, please. We're 5-star people. Tell your friends about us. Tell your local Star Trek communities about us. Tell your online Star Trek communities about us. Tell anyone, please. I don't want to sound desperate, but I'm fucking desperate. That's it for us. We will see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Captain's Log Supplemental. You can follow us on Twitter at PodCLS or send us hate mail at podcls3@gmail.com.